Hey everyone, Brian Lagunas here, and today I'm going to fix your code. Well, I mean, not your code, but somebody's code. I'm fixing somebody's code. It may be yours, it may not be yours. If you want it to be yours, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment below with your issue and a link to your code, and I may just fix it for you. The code I'll be fixing today was sent to me from the Infragistics support team. As many of you know, I work for Infragistics as a senior product owner there, and I do a lot of cool things for them. One of those things is when needed, support reaches out to me for help, and I help. And this is one of those cases where support came to me. There was a customer that was using Prism in one of our WPF applications, and they had a problem with a region that just kept crashing. And so the support team said, hey, Brian, we got this customer. Here's the application. This is the problem. Every time you run it, it's only for this one specific region, but they can't inject any views into it. It crashes. They can't find it. The region does not exist, but they're defining it right there in the XAML. I see it with my own eyes. I see it, but it doesn't work. What is going on, Brian? Can you help us? Yes, I can help you. Not only that, you're going to help me help them. We're going to do it together. Okay. So let's get to it. Let's fix this code. Roll that intro. The code that was given to me today was provided in a zip file. So we're going to start by extracting our zip file. Once we extract the zip file, we will have the code available to us. So let's go ahead and open this project inside Visual Studio. See what we're working with here. As we can see, this is a Prism project that has no modules. So this should be somewhat easier to debug. Let's go ahead and do a build and just see what happens. So we have a failed build. Oh, okay. So they're using the Infragistics ribbon, and they're not using NuGet for this, which is surprising. Who's not using NuGet nowadays? I don't know. So I'm going to change that to use a local feed of mine. So I'll say infragistics.wpf.ribbon. We'll install that NuGet package. That should fix our build error. So that package was added. Let's go ahead and do a rebuild. Okay, let's run the application and see what happens. Here's the application running. We can see that we have a blank page with a ribbon with some buttons. And if I navigate to view B, that looks like it works. If I clear that, it looks like it works. So if I go to view A, now we have an exception. Okay, so what's the exception? The exception says the region manager does not contain the ribbon context region. Well, that is a huge clue on what the problem is. It's a huge clue. But let's go ahead and go through our thought process or debug process. And what most people might do from here is they would actually work their way back. I actually take a different approach to debugging. I like to work my way forward. So first, I need a solid understanding of the structure of the application to make sure they're not doing anything weird to begin with. So let's go ahead and open up our app.xaml. We can see that create shell returns main window. Perfect. Let's go ahead and open up main window and see what kind of regions we have. So we have a ribbon region. Okay, we have an application menu region. We have a contextual tab region and status bar and a content control. Okay, so we have content region. Perfect. So let's look back into our app.xaml here and see, we're registering some views for navigation, which is good. We have some custom region adapter mappings, and we have a custom region behavior, the dependent view region behavior. And I know what this behavior is because I wrote it. I have a Pluralsight course that shows you how to inject views that are dependent on other views, meaning I can inject view A into one region and show view B in a different region, okay, based on that action. But let's keep going. What I don't see is where we are injecting the initial views, where it said blank and we had ribbon tabs at the top. So let's go to our view models and look at our main window view model. And let's make our way through some regions. Let's start with the constructor. Okay, this is not good. This is not good at all. Oh, and I just noticed a comment here. I just can't believe this is the correct approach to do this. It's not. Never, ever reference any type of view object in your view model ever. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this out of the constructor here and go back into our app.xaml. And because you're not using modules, you should always use a module. Always use a module. But if you're not, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to override the oninitialized. We will just paste that here. Whoops. And we will create, let me scroll this up for everyone, our own region manager. And we will basically use our container to resolve the region manager that we'll use in this method here. Okay, so we'll say iRegionManager. Manager. Looks like we need to add some using statements. Home tab. Okay, this is in the menus. Okay, perfect. And so let's go look at the home tab. So we're injecting the blank view in the home tab. So I'm going to go look at the home tab. That was in menus. Okay, navigate command. View A, view B. Okay, so this is where the navigation's occurring. I'm not worried about the navigation. That seems to work fine. I don't really need to go into that. However, let's just run this again because I want to make sure we move this out. We want to make sure we didn't break anything, moving anything out. You know, all that still works. We still get the same exception. Let's take a closer look at our regions now. Okay, so the region adapter is looking for a specific region name. And the way it does that is when we navigate, we're injecting a view. So what view is that? I was injecting view A. So I'm going to open up view A if my head can get out of the way here. And we can see right here on the view A class, we have some attributes defined. This is that dependent view attribute that the user or the developer is using to inject the dependent views based on another view. So in this case, whenever view A is injected into the content region, they're going to inject view A tab into the ribbon region and view A tab into a context region. So let's just narrow this down. I'm going to comment out the context region and let's run the application again. So view A, view, okay, so now it works fine, right? So that part's not broken. We know that's not broken. They made a note here. This is the system crash. So we have a problem with the view, or we have a problem with the region not being found. So let's just run this one more time. I want to just take a extra good look at the exception. Let's go ahead and look at our region manager, check out our regions. Yep, we only have 4 of them. And I just want to see which ones we have. Looks like we have everything except the context region. Okay. I know what the problem is. I am confident I know what the problem is. The problem is this is a contextual tab. This is a contextual element, meaning that this object here is not part of the visual tree or the logical tree, okay? Meaning that when you use the attach property to say to Prism, hey, this is a region, well, Prism has to go find the region manager that belongs to this object and then set the region property on that. However, when it's not part of the logical view, right, it can't find that, right? It can't find it in time. So by the time you're looking for this, this has not been created. So we actually have to take a separate approach. We can't define this inside of XAML at all. This is because it's contextual. So we're going to give this a name. Xname equals, I don't know what we're going to call this, context tab group. That sound good? And then we want to go to the code behind. And here we're going to inject the iRegionManager. Now let's just store this off. We'll create a field. And I actually like my fields to have the underscore. And I'm going to hook into the loaded event because I want to make sure the contextual tab has kind of been created before I do this. And what I'm doing is, because we don't know when that contextual tab will be resolved and initialized, we can't use the attach property approach. We actually have to use a code-based approach. So we're going to say region manager dot set region manager. What are we going to set it on? We called it the context tab group, and then the instance, which is the region manager. Now we have specifically said, hey, when you go looking for, the region manager for this component, this is what it is, right? We are setting it directly. And then we're going to say region manager, set region name, the target, which is going to be the same target, which is the tab group. And then I think he had a region names. Yes, he has a region names dot. I think it was the context region. Right? Wasn't that right? Okay. So let's go ahead and run the application and see what happens. Here's the application running. We can navigate to view B, that works, and we navigate to view A, and now it works. Here is the contextual tab right there. You see where it says options. That's a contextual tab. He just happens to be injecting the same tab into both areas. So we can prove this by if we go back to our, what was that, view A code behind, we can comment out this attribute, run it again, and we will only see the contextual tab when we click view A. There you go. That was the problem. It was just simply the contextual tab did not exist in time for the region to be assigned. So you have to go to the code behind and manually use code to set the region manager and the name. And that's it. You're done. I fixed your code. You're welcome.